Everybody. Oh my God, Alinity is looking really good today. Um, Taylor Javao, she's got her boobs more or less painted. She's working down to her stomach according to the thumbnail. She's looking pretty good today. It's a good paint job. And oh man, Masha's. I'm not really sure. She doesn't look too bad, but I'm not really sure what she's wearing. And oh, Nagasaki is looking really. She got like normal hair, but she's looking good, and she's playing Diablo 5. Foxy No Tail's playing Minecraft. Go, Foxy. Okay. I don't know how long I'm going to stream, and I'm not going to probably be doing a whole lot on UFOs. I'll probably retell the story that I did on the other one because I think it's relevant. But I'm just, I think I did a little too much yesterday, and I'm kind of feeling it. After I got done, and I'm not, I really wasn't mad because she was not feeling good yesterday. And I don't think it was trouble. I think it was patches. I went in to take my shoes off at the end of the day, and I was going to put ice on my foot and everything else. Well, when I got up to take my shorts off, I could smell something. Well, she had pooped on the foot of the bed. It was on the sheet, so I didn't have to take the bed apart. I just had to go wash the sheet, and it was on my shorts, so I had to wash my shorts. And then I think it ended up on my underwear, so I had to wash those. So I had to wash the sheet, my shorts. I pretty much washed everything. Like I had just done laundry. I just washed the bed, but I threw what colored clothes I had in with the sheet, and then when I washed my shorts, I put in all the black and gray, the darker colored stuff that I had. I threw all that in there too and got that washed. And but it just is crappy. I'm just glad she's better. So and I don't remember how much I know I said things off and on yesterday about wanting her to get better, and for anybody that may have helped that out, I am just completely generous or grateful that she was doing better a little bit last night, but by this morning she was definitely. I still think they need to work on her. I still want to see her a little better, but it was pretty clear by this morning that she was definitely feeling better, and I'm really glad. That made me feel pretty good. That actually made me feel really good. Okay, I know I got stuff down there, but I'm not. I got stuff done down there, but I'm not entirely sure what. Okay. Okay, I got something for sugar, glass bottles. The only thing, I might be wrong, but I think the only thing I don't have a spot for is, I don't think I got a spot for, the, uh, the spider eye or whatever it is. Okay, what I need to do, and I don't think I'm going to do it right now. Uh, what I need to do is, and I think the only one I can do, I'm going to test this off screen. I don't want to mess with you guys. But I think you can put, and I think what I might do is I might just drop these down and then shoot them over to the wall, and then I'll send them back up. But I think I can make something to get potions out of here. Like, I think I can remove potions, and I might be able to. I don't think I can because I didn't do it when I was playing on the Ace of Spades server. But I think on Java you can, but I'm not sure you can do it here. But I will investigate it again to see if you can pull books out of here. Because, like the potion, you can basically send. You can basically have your potions go into a uh, potion machine, and then you can pull them out of there instantly with another hopper. So I think I can get the potion shit out of here, and I should be able to do it where they come down. And and I'll see if I can get the books, and then whatever I take out, I can just shoot over here and then send it up, and then I can have the potions, and then anything I can't sort out, I will send back up. And then, but I'm gonna do. I'll at least. I might build it on screen, but I'm gonna do the testing and see what I can sort out of there. Uh, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dump all. I'm gonna dump the remaining stuff down in here. I don't think there's that much. I want that one. I'm gonna go buy some more of these because I don't know how much of it I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna need way more than this because I want them for every floor going down. So I'm gonna go buy some more. That might be all I'll do today. Is do that. Well, anyways, okay. This is a story I told the last, and I might expand on it a little bit. I think I did a little bit on the last one. When they originally, to me, my opinion, the Pentagon is fucking around with Congress. The Congress passed some laws or amendments, and it required that the Pentagon, the military, fess up on UFOs. And when she was first announcing it, the Pentagon came, oh man, yeah, hey, Senator Christian Gillibrand, you don't need that law. Hell, we'll be happy to investigate this and tell you what's going on. Well, either through her amendment that her and Mark Rubio put in, or from the Pentagon's action, they created what was, I think, known as the UAP task force. And I think they did the required report after 6 months, and then they came in to answer questions of Congress. And it was a House one. It was House at first, and it was House last week. And this is the thing I've kind of said since then. It's like, well, look, you guys are a co-equal branch of government. And, you know, during the Reagan administration, you had something called the Iran-Contra scandal, where you had people that broke the law. They wanted to do something. Congress told them no. They did it anyways. Well, some of them got convicted, and they were put in jail. You know, that's the way it was. And well, then what happened was, it turned out accidentally. You know, it isn't like Congress said, hey, come in and testify and we'll give you immunity. Apparently, these people that worked for the government, they were Republicans. They didn't know, apparently they were stupid and didn't know they had a Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate themselves. So, for some reason, that was the argument, since they came in and testified to Congress and didn't invoke their Fifth Amendment right, they suddenly were just magically immune to the crime. So the people that had been found guilty and put in jail, they had to get out of jail. And like during the George W. Bush, not his father H.W., but G.W., they used that a lot when he was president. Well, you know, hey, we couldn't have broken the law. We were given a legal memo. A lawyer told us we could do it, you know. And they started doing that now. And I'm not saying I'm the one that caused it. I'm literally not. I don't know. But the funny thing was, I kind of asked on Twitter, I kind of tweeted out, I'm like, well, okay, I got a serious question. I go, I'm pretty sure that I was drugged or poisoned for bringing up quality issues. I think you know, and I don't know legally but I felt like a whistleblower, that I was letting people know what happened. And hang on. And I go, if I went and got some brain dead lawyer from Regent University, some religious nut, and he wrote me a memo, a legal memo, not just a memo, but a legal memo, like the Republicans, and it said that I could kill the people that I was pretty sure had done it to me, and it would be considered self-defense. I go, I am pretty sure that I would be investigated quickly. I would get arrested quickly. I would be charged quickly. And barring some technicality, I'm pretty sure I'd go to jail. So I go, why are we even entertaining this bullshit that just because some lawyer, I go, now if a lawyer basically gave him a legal memo, because that's what they did with GW and Dick Cheney and some of the other ones, they they did the waterboarding and they did other acts of torture, stuff that we executed Japanese soldiers for in World War II. We executed people because we knew it was wrong. Well, he basically wrote a legal memo that said that it was okay. And so, and my thing is like, well, I'm sorry, the people that did it should still be put on trial. They should have been put on trial for war crimes here. They should have been handed over to the Hague. And now it got stopped, but my understanding after Rumsfeld retired, and he went over somewhere. I don't know if he was in France or it was another country. Well, there were French authorities that were on their way to arrest him. They were going to take him to the Hague. This is the story I heard. There were French authorities that were going to go and arrest him. They were going to take him to the Hague, and he was going to be put on trial for his war crimes. And what they were saying was that the Bush administration dispatched people from the embassy to pick him up, throw his ass on a plane, and get him the fuck out of the country. That's my understanding of it. And I'm going to hang out until I can buy another round of those. And but that's what I was told. And I don't understand, but again, the other thing is if you look at it, I don't think there's a lot of the people that worked for George Bush. They don't leave the country anymore. Condoleezza Rice used to do a lot of shopping overseas. I haven't heard about her doing any since she left office. Because my understanding is they couldn't do it. It's kind of like George W. Bush. They couldn't do it until he left office, but once he left office, it was fair game. And at least that's the way it was pitched to me. But you don't hear about a lot of them going out of the country anymore. And I think it's a thing where, well, if they're here, you're not going to get them. But, because they didn't wave a magic wand and let him stay over there and finish his business dealing. Sounded like they got him the fuck out of the country. And I don't know. And when I brought that up, again, I'm not saying I did. I'm hoping it was far wiser, more intelligent people than me. But I quit hearing that bullshit from the Republicans. Oh, well, they had a legal memo. It's okay. It's okay. Apparently that's how Matt Gaetz got away with, what he did to those kids with the human trafficking. He must have had a legal memo or it doesn't make any sense. And, so they stopped that. And then, basically now it looks like, but again, another thing is you got these people that worked for Trump. Well, AG Garland and the FBI director, they didn't seem to want to do anything. They fucked around until the Secret Service and DHS destroyed evidence on phones of January 6th. Well, anyways, that was the first red flag for me when you saw those people that were sent to the house, and it seemed to me like they were lying to Congress. They're absolutely lying to Congress. And they were asked questions, and it's like, oh, well, in the regards to the UAP task force, we don't know anything about that. Well, they didn't ask him they asked him, hey, has the military ever done this? Has the U.S. government ever done this? And at least one of the guys that was there, he was the top intelligence guy for the Pentagon. That guy, because of his position, he was either incompetent and should have been fired, or he should have been able to answer that question. Not in regards to this. He should have been able to answer the actual question, in regards to the government or in regards to the military. Have we ever captured a UFO? Have we ever captured alien bodies? Have we ever captured technology that does not appear to be of human origin. And in regards to the UAP task force, we haven't done that. Well, I didn't ask you that, and they didn't think about it. They didn't do it. They should have called him to the mat, like, hey, look, you know, and they should have told him, hey, look, you are you're the intelligence chief for the Pentagon. You either need to tell us yes or no. You need to tell us that it's classified and you can't talk to us here about it. You need to tell us that, you're going to have to, look into it, get us a written answer, and submit it within 3 working days or a week of this committee. Or you need to tell us that when we get done here, you're going to submit your resignation. They're going to put somebody competent and qualified to do the job in your place. That's what they should have done, and they didn't. And, still, nope. And so that was the first red flag. Second red flag was when they were asked about, well, hey, have you done this? Have you done that? What can you tell us about this? And they're like, oh, we don't know anything about that. And it got into a discussion. Well, one of the guys with her said, well, we got, hey, we'll get you answers as quick as we can. But we got all hands on deck right now. We just don't have you any answers. And then they're like, well, it's, you've had this for 3 months or 6 months. How many people are working for you right now? And one of them thought about it, and he's like, well, UAP Task Force has 2 employees. And then one of the congressmen, I don't know, the same one that asked that question or the next one, they go, oh, so you've got 2 people working for you. And then there's like this pause, and they're like, no, counting us, there's 2 people. And one of the congressmen said, well, you just told us you had all hands on deck. 4 hands is not a lot of hands. And, that to me was the second red flag or strike or whatever you want to call it, that the Pentagon was fucking around with them. I have to go to the bathroom. Let me make sure it's in peaceful. Yeah. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Oh, I might have to go again. All I did was let off a little pressure. It was gas. And there we go. Well, Jesus. One of them understood the assignment. Get me some more blocks. And, but, that was like the second flag. The second red flag, the little warning sign, flare, strike, whatever you want to call it. And that was just for that one committee hearing. Well, then the next thing was, let's see if I got another one here. Oh yeah, sweet. And one of the congressmen brought this up. They go, well, he goes, it was that Tim Burchett. He goes, well, they sent these people there. He goes, they couldn't even spell UFO, 3 letters. They couldn't even spell UFO, let alone tell us anything, because they had like 2 answers when they came. They go, they had, we don't know, and it's class or no comment, And he said one of the 2 or 3 videos they brought, it was a selfie taken by somebody in the military from a cockpit as they were flying. He goes, we're supposed to be the most sophisticated country in the world, and they bring in a cell phone video, from something they bought at Radio Shack or something along those lines. And he's like, it was just ridiculous. But so that was the shit that went on in that first one. And I swear to God, stuff I know, stuff I have heard over the years, I think it was pretty clear they were lying to Congress. Like, when they were asked about any other UFO programs, they didn't think of Project Blue Book. That should have came up. That's publicly known. They didn't mention Project Sign or Project Grudge. But they should have brought up Project Blue Book. That was run, especially that guy. And again, I think they were lying to him. And I mentioned to him at the time, hey, look, I'm pretty sure they're lying to you. And I seriously think you're going to need to throw some people in jail. Maybe not a lot of people, but I think you're going to have to throw some people in jail to send a message to corporate America, the intelligence committees or the intelligence community and the military that this is not optional. This is something that they must do. Not something that they may do. That's something they must do. I'm pretty sure you're going to have to put some people in jail if you really want some serious answers. And, well, then they did this one. And the one they did, and I believe this was the Senate one, they brought in the guy from, I think it's called Arrow now. And I was spelling it wrong. I was doing A-A-R-R-O, and it's A-A-R-O. I at least knew there wasn't a W on it, but I had the name wrong, but it's AARO. That's, I think, what the UAP task force turned into. And that guy came, and there were some journalists, one of them from Australia, when they covered it, they said, yeah, my personal opinion is that guy did not want to be there. That guy from Arrow did not want to be there answering questions. Well, and this was another flag from that first one, or that time period. Dr. Taylor, who's on Skinwalker Ranch, and you see him on other shows on the History Channel, he was one of the ones that helped them write the report. And if I'm understanding him right, what happened is they wrote it, somebody rewrote it and changed it, because he has come forward and said, look, he goes, that's not what we wrote. That was not the report that we wrote. That was not our conclusions. What the Pentagon and them had said when they released their final report. And well, this guy, when he came in to talk to Congress, he made the comment something along the lines of, well, he hasn't personally been presented with any stories, any evidence, any talk of people, of government UFO programs, of aliens, and all this other stuff. And then when Grouch came in, he was asked about that because he had basically said that he had met with the head of Arrow. And they go, and he sort of hinted, he sort of like gave him the cliff notes of what he told him. And they go, well, he came in here and testified under oath, this, that, or the other thing. And one of the things Grouch said was, well, he would not schedule a follow-up appointment. He said, like, I gave him like a brief overview. It was a really short meeting. And I told him that I would bring facts and evidence and testimony and whatnot to the next meeting. He was going to basically bring his documents and his notes and everything else. Well, what happened was the guy would not schedule another appointment. And I want to give you an example. There was a job I had years ago. Would have been 90s, I think. And it's a long story, but there were some people getting fired. And some of them were damn good people. I'm not saying they didn't deserve to be fired. I got like a severance package. I got like a 6 months or a year severance package where I got my insurance, I think. I might not have kept my insurance, but I got basically paid my wages for like 6 months or a year. I got a pretty good severance package. I would say it was more than fair. But these other people, what had happened was they were getting fired one by one. And this one guy, these guys worked in maintenance and they did stuff, but they had a pretty good job. I don't think they worked overly hard the whole time they were there. Well, he probably did more work that day than he normally did in a week, and because he knew he was going to get fired. So what he did was he just basically went around all this shit. He hadn't done it before, but all this shit that he knew that needed to be fixed, he was running around fixing it so they couldn't find him. And then I'm thinking, when I heard that, because this was on day shift, and I'm just like, well, what the fuck? They're gonna fire you. They're gonna fire you. All this is doing is putting off the inevitable. But he ran around, so he did way more work than he normally did in a week, and it was just basically thinking, well, maybe if I can just work long enough, they won't know, maybe they'll forget, and that was funny as shit. And it's, the same thing here, you got these people that were working there, and, it's like, oh, well, we work at Arrow, and it came out after the hearing that Australian reporter, he had talked to somebody that's in one of these legacy programs, and he said that Grouch had mentioned him. And yeah, I'll just leave that there. Okay. And but they've got their position, they've got their thing, and it came out that somebody had gotten a hold of him and they wanted to know how they could, basically come forward like Grouch did without getting in trouble, because this guy didn't want to lose his job. He didn't want to be like that Ukrainian. He was from Ukraine, but I believe he was a naturalized citizen, and I can't remember his name. It's the one that came forward and testified against Trump with that former ambassador and some other stuff. And the guy that basically his dad said, "Oh, you can't come forward and testify against the president," and he told his dad, he goes, "Hey, this is America. This is the way it's supposed to be." Well, he got fired. He came forward. He did the right thing. He told the world about the crooked shit that the Republican president was doing. And the problem is, you had all these corrupt and crooked fucking politicians in Congress that weren't going to do anything. They were covering up for him. So this guy, and he didn't want to be like that guy. He didn't want to lose his job. He wanted to do the right thing and have a job the next day. When you look at the fact that I am pretty sure that I was drugged or poisoned for bringing up quality issues and stuff like that when I worked at GM, I can wholeheartedly agree. It would have been nice if I could have done the right thing and not been screwed out of overtime by Terry in management. And if I'd have been able to keep my job and not get drugged or poisoned, it would have been really nice. It would have been outstanding. But that's not the way this fairy tale ends. And but that's what he was trying to do. Well, Ross, he 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 found out that this guy who told Congress, "Well, I've never heard anything. Nobody told me." Blah blah. Well, apparently he doesn't have a phone number. His office doesn't have a phone number listed. Uh, his office doesn't have a website where somebody who is concerned could shoot him an email or call him and make an appointment to meet with him and tell him what's going on. None of that fucking existed. And he he kind of had something on Twitter, and like I normally am not on it, but I got on it this morning, and I kind of added to it, and I kind of tagged Tim Burchett and Senator Chris, and I'm like, hey, look, these guys appear to be playing games with you. They create this thing, they tell you they're going to investigate it, and apparently they don't have a phone number where anybody can reach them. And to me it's hand in hand with what they did in that very, very first hearing in the House. And it goes hand in hand with the congressman saying, well, yeah, they're intimidating our witnesses and all this other stuff. And to me, this is another red flag. And I go, look, it's pretty clear they're not taking this seriously. And I go, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know the best way to handle it. I don't even have any, I don't really know if I have any good suggestions. But I go, the thing is, they are making fools out of you guys. They're absolutely making fools out of you guys. And I go, here's the thing. What are you going to do about it? And it sounds like they're already talking about it. And it might be something different, but I know I had originally mentioned to them that they needed to they needed to basically do I think it's a joint committee or something like that. I think it's what Nancy and them were going to do for January 6th, where you have House and Senate. They got subpoena powers. I think technically they have the right to arrest people and hold them in the congressional jail. There's actually a jail on the Congress. It's like a couple of rooms with like prison bars or something like that. It hasn't been used like since before Watergate. It was at least threatened in Watergate because somebody working for Nixon, when Congress basically said, they go, well, you're going to have this person here, they're going to respond, and the guy's like, well, what are you going to do if we don't? And they go, well, we're going to have the marshals arrest him, and we're going to hold him in our jail cell here in Congress until he fucking starts answering our questions. And that's another thing like that right there, I would say, bars them from accidentally granting immunity to people. They either plead the fifth, or it's fair game to fucking use everything they tell you. And that they did that. They did that with the Mueller report, or with not Mueller but Flynn. Flynn's lawyers tried to argue, well, you can't send Flynn to jail for lying to the FBI because nobody told him that was illegal, and the judge just went off. But see, that's the shit Republicans used to do. They'd fucking break the law, and then they'd make up whatever. Well, I got this fucking get out of jail free card, a legal memo from dumb fuck from Regent University. You can't possibly put my guy in jail because of this, and that's the way it's been. And hopefully that's going to change. Hopefully that's going to stop. But oh my God, man. But that's the thing I'm looking at. It's like, yeah, they I don't know what Congress is going to do, but they got to do something, because it's pretty clear the Pentagon is fucking around. And there's a movie. I don't know. I'll have to look. I don't know if it's actually on. Because if I can, I'll have to see if I can look it up. There's this movie called Pentagon Wars. HBO made it. It was made for HBO. And it had Kelsey Grammer. I can't think of the actor's name, but he played Toby on West Wing. He was in it. Can't think of the guy's name. He's the one who played. He played one of the characters in The Princess Bride, I think. There was a comedy version of Robin Hood. It had Patrick Stewart playing King Richard III with a Scottish accent or whatever. And he's the guy who played Robin Hood in there. And he played in this Pentagon Wars, and it was actually based on true events. It was based on a real story. And it really showed how the military obstructed justice. They had been ordered by Congress to have some review. They were forced to put an Air Force officer in charge of the review, so that he could not be fucking ordered around by the Army generals. Well, and this is kind of coming out now with with some of the stuff they're doing to protect women that are raped in the military. They're like, well, look, how can you have a fair shake when the people you're reporting to this to might be the ones who raped you? And it was the same thing there. The whole point was to put him there so that, the Army could not order him around, while the general was good buddy with the Air Force general, who then basically did whatever the Army general wanted. And so he was getting fucked around with a little bit. It was clear harassment. It was clear obstruction of Congress. And I think it's a good blueprint for anybody dealing with this to understand what's going on now. So I kind of met, but I don't know, because there were these ones that were done for Showtime a number of years ago, and they I think it was like rescuers stories of courage, or women's stories of courage. and it was based on real events. Showtime did it, and I don't know why, but like when I have had access to Showtime, I can go on there and you think Showtime, they were really really good. They were based on real stories of people who hid the Jews during World War II from the Germans, risked their lives to do it. And like uh, two of them, it was basically like what they would do is every week there'd be two stories. And it'd be, like the one week it was rescuer stories of courage, and the one week it was something about women. And they had Daryl Hannah from Mermaids and some other stuff. She was in Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer. The book was called Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep? I can't remember the name of the movie. But she was in one story, and the other story had Linda, I think it's Linda Hamilton, the fairly hot actress that was in the original Terminator movie. She was in it. And if I remember right, Daryl Hannah, I might have them mixed up. That one of them, I think I got two different episodes of it. But in the one, there was a zoo, or not a zoo, a carnival or circus, whatever you want to call it. And it had the one guy, he was the vice president first couple seasons of West Wing, and he was also the Delta High president in Animal House. And it was basically they hid all these Jews in the circus. And and that one that one basically covered them and went to the end of the war. And they were basically going to get rounded up because they kept being told, like, oh, well, there's no way you'd be able to move freely if you weren't part of the Nazis. And there was a big thing, and they kind of did it in the Second Gulf War when Bush and them were in charge, where at the end of World War II, they had to denazify anybody that was a Nazi. Had to be rounded up, stripped of their job, and basically, investigated, dealt with, to see what their involvement with the Jews was. And Patton was one general that when the order came down, he basically refused to follow it. Because what he wasn't going to do, and I'm not saying he was right, it was disobeying an order, but I will say this, his attitude on it made a lot of sense. Because he was, they showed it in his movie with George C. Scott, that they asked Patton, they go, well, are you going to disobey the order? And he said, look, if they send me qualified people who can do the job, I will have no problem following the orders. But he goes, I'm not going to take competent people, the types, and I might be kind of mixing it up, but this was more or less the gist of what he was saying. He goes, I'm not going to take the competent people who can keep the buses and trains running on time and replace them with people who can't. If they send me qualified people, I will be more than happy to follow the order, but until they get me people who can do the job, I ain't doing it. It's not smart. And and that was his opinion on it. And they should have done that in the Second Gulf War. And then there was another thing. There were allies. It wasn't Iraqi. There were allies that said, hey, what you're going to do is you're going to bribe the generals. You're going to pay the generals, and they're gonna keep order. They, as long as you're paying them, they will work for you. And that was why a lot of them surrendered, because they thought, oh well, okay, they're coming in, they're gonna pay us, we'll keep things running smoothly. So they didn't fight. They basically handed over their shit, and they were waiting for their fucking, they had their hand out waiting for their payoff. And the Bush administration, oh no, we got to get, again, I'm going to call them Nazis, but we got to get rid of these people. They were there, they were horrible, and blah, blah, blah. And that's where you had those insurgents, because those people were like, look, you didn't defeat us, we gave up. And we were more than happy to wait our turn, and then when you guys settled things, you pay us, we keep the things running, and that kind of shit. Well, they became insurgents then, because they had their hands out and nobody wanted to pay them. And that guy there kept explaining to people, look, I never joined the Nazi party. They will, we'll be happy to do what you want. Well, you verify it, but we did not join. And he let them know, we had many, many Jews that were hiding in plain sight in our circus. And they go, well, then how were you able to do this? And he said, look, every time we got into a new town, we just told them that we had filled it out and that it hadn't caught up to us yet, that, because of our schedule, because of moving around, it just, wasn't a thing. And they believed it. Oh, okay, now I remember. The two women, that was one story. That was a different one. But the two women, you had one woman who ran, and it was, and I can't remember. I think Linda Hamilton ran like a boarding house or a school. And what she did was, she had way more students. And the thing is, there were students of her academy who were the kids of like top Nazis, top generals in the German military. And she had way more than she was supposed to. And I think it was Holland or something like that. And she was robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like she would like get stuff in, and she would wheel and deal so that she could get more food and other stuff than what she was supposed to have. But she was doing it like she needed more beds. She wasn't supposed to have them, so she'd wheel and deal and she'd get them. And somebody made the comment when they found out what she was doing. They go, if Germany and Holland ever talk, they go, you're going to be in trouble. Because she was, Holland thought she had this, Germany thought they had that. It's kind of like Donald Trump's bookkeeping records. If you talk to the bank, they think one thing. If you talk to the IRS, they think another. And she was really putting herself out there. And then the other one, I don't know exactly what she did, but it was another woman. And what happened was she was hiding them at her house. She had like a house or an outbuilding, and these people would come in during the day, and then at night, during the day when, or at night when nobody was supposed to be there, they would kind of come out. But otherwise, they were kind of hiding underground. They had living quarters. Well, they went to steps so that these people could have a chimney, and they had done things to kind of disguise the smoke so it wouldn't be quite so obvious. And there was another thing where I think he was the policeman or something like that. And he sort of figured out what she was doing. And again, it was another one of these. It was not Germany. It was one of the countries they had occupied. And this cop, he said, I have the authority to set up a couple outposts around the town. And he goes, I have the authority to install a phone there for you. And he goes, and then if there's a fire or there's problems, you can call directly to me. And if it's a fire, we can get the firemen there. If you need assistance from the police, we can do that. And then he just sort of made the comment, he goes, I would like to do that with your property. And she thought about it, and then he kind of added, he goes, and like, you know, if for some reason I know that the Germans are going to be coming for a visit, maybe your phone rings one time and then no more. And that would be an indication to you that, you know, you're in danger. And then it sort of clicked. She didn't know if she could trust him, but she's like, okay, he might be trying to help us. And so she ended up agreeing to it, and that was the thing. It finally happened near the end. Well, that woman who, I think it was Linda Hamilton that ran the boys' school, when it was all over, because they had people that came there and they were older boys, and see, they thought they knew, you know, and they didn't want to listen to her, and they wanted to wear their Star of David, they wanted to wear their skull cap, and she kind of had to let them know, look, if you keep doing this, if you wear your Jewish stuff under your clothes, like I don't know, it'd be like underwear, and all I can think of is like when you talk about the Mormon faith, and I don't know if it's true or not. Bill Maher said that the Mormon faith believes in magic underwear, and the Jewish faith is a little bit like that. They got certain clothing that if you're wearing it, it's a clear indication that you're Jewish, and some of it is stuff you wear openly, and some of it is stuff these kids either it was either supposed to be worn openly or they'd wear it under their clothes. And it was like teenage kids, the little rebellious bastards. And she kind of let them know, hey, look, when we serve pork, you eat pork. Well, yeah, but the Torah, it's like, I don't care about your Torah. When we serve food, you eat it, whether it's kosher or not. You fucking eat it. And they said, you know, these religious symbols, you got to get rid of them. You can't even keep them and hide them. You got to get rid of them. You definitely can't wear it. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, but our faith. And they're like, look, you're going to you're either going to be a good dead Jew, or you're going to do what I'm telling you, and you might just survive this shit. And and then at the end of it, she really felt bad. When the end of it, the Jewish elders that came, because they knew that the kids had been there, and she was talking to them, and she made a comment. She goes, well, I don't know how Jewish these kids still are because of what she did. And that old lady, she said, don't you worry about that. You kept them alive. The rest is up to us. And she kind of let her know, you know, hey, the religion thing is okay. And this is the thing with these fucking religious nuts in the Republican Party. And it's like, oh, well, you know, my Bible, blah, blah. Well, you know what? That Bible stuff is good in your house, but you don't need to try and force it on the rest of the world. Not everybody else has to be held hostage to your mythology. Well, yeah, but, you know, innocent children, yeah, you guys don't really give a fuck about them after they're born. This is something George Carlin talked about. It's like, yeah, you know, they're pro-life right up until the baby's born. So like for the first 9 months of their life, they're pro-life. Then from the minute they're born until they're about 18, they don't give a fuck about them. You know, school lunches, fuck you. Lower my taxes. Healthcare, fuck you. Lower my taxes. And then as soon as they're 18 again, they actually care about them. They want them poor enough and dumb enough and, you know, minority enough so that they will have to serve in the military and go fight to protect their money. And that's the gist of your pro-life agenda for the most part. And I don't know. But anyways, to get back on the thing, so I don't know if that Pentagon Wars, and I don't know how easy it'll be for me to check, but that might be something where if you've got Max, you could maybe go watch it because HBO made that, and I think it would be a very, very good uh, thought provoker for what's going on with the Pentagon right now. Because I don't really want to go into it. I'm getting lightheaded. I'm kind of rambling, and I apologize for that. Uh, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I'm actually having a pretty good day. I'm actually really really happy that Patches the cat's feeling better. She was winking at me when I was feeding her, and then we had chicken for lunch, and she came right over, and I gave her some chicken. I gave her like usually she eats a certain amount. I gave her like about 3 times what I normally would, and she pretty much ate it all but a few scraps. She would eat it and she'd look at me and I'd give her a little bit more and then she'd eat that and then I'd give her a little bit more, but I gave her like 3 loads of it. And they're like now yesterday when I tried to give her some bacon, 'cause we were doing BLTs, normally she devours bacon. It's still there this morning. She didn't hardly eat it. And so she's definitely, again, maybe she'll be shit tomorrow. I don't know, but she's definitely feeling better today. She's responding better today. And I honestly, for anybody out there, that might have sent some good wishes or help or whatever, I I firmly am really really happy for it because I love that cat. Well, peace out, and I hope everybody has a pretty good day. Oh, I'm not gonna end it. I'm gonna end the stream. Peace out and have a good day.